Business Law. Module 1, Fundamentals of Business Law. Business law, also known as commercial law or corporate law, encompasses the legal principles and regulations that govern business and commercial transactions. Understanding the fundamentals of business law is crucial for individuals involved in business operations, whether they are business owners, managers, or professionals. Here are some key concepts and areas within the realm of business law. Contracts. Definition. A contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties. Elements. Offer, acceptance, consideration, legality, capacity, and intention to create legal relations. Breach of contract occurs when one party fails to fulfill its contractual obligations. Torts. Definition. Torts are civil wrongs that cause harm or loss to an individual or their property. Types. Negligence, intentional torts, and strict liability. Agency law. Definition. Deals with the relationship between a principal and an agent who acts on the principal's behalf. Agent's authority. Express, implied, apparent, or ratification. Business organizations. Types. Sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability company, LLC, corporation. Formation. Each type has distinct legal and tax implications. Intellectual property. Types. Trademarks, copyrights, patents, trade secrets. Protection. Legal measures to safeguard intellectual property rights. Antitrust law. Purpose. Promotes fair competition and prevents monopolies or unfair business practices. Acts. Sherman Antitrust Act, Clayton Act, Federal Trade Commission Act. Consumer protection. Purpose. Protects consumers from unfair business practices, fraud, and unsafe products. Laws. Consumer Product Safety Act, Truth in Lending Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Employment law. Areas. Employment contracts, discrimination, harassment, wage and hour laws. Acts. Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. Real estate law. Deals with property transactions, leases, zoning laws, land use regulations. Bankruptcy law. Purpose. Provides a legal framework for individuals and businesses facing financial distress. Chapters. Chapter 7, Liquidation. Chapter 11, Reorganization. Chapter 13, Individual Debt Adjustment. Environmental law. Concerns. Regulations related to environmental protection, pollution, and conservation. International business law. Deals with cross-border transactions, trade agreements, and international disputes. Module 2, Business structures. Business structures refer to the legal frameworks that define the organization, ownership, and operation of a business. Choosing the right business structure is a crucial decision that can impact various aspects, including liability, taxation, management, and regulatory compliance. Here are some common business structures. Sole proprietorship. Ownership, owned and operated by a single individual. Liability. The owner has unlimited personal liability for business debts. Taxation. Personal income tax is applied to business profits. Management. The owner has full control and decision-making authority. Partnership. Ownership, formed by two or more individuals. Liability. Partners share unlimited personal liability for business debts. Taxation. Profits and losses are passed through to individual partners and reported on their personal tax returns. Management. Partners share control and decision-making. Limited liability company, LLC. Ownership, owned by members, individuals or other entities. Liability. Members have limited liability, protecting personal assets from business debts. Taxation. Can choose to be taxed as a pass-through entity, like a partnership, or as a corporation. Management. Members or managers, depending on the structure, manage the business. Corporation. Ownership, owned by shareholders. Liability. Shareholders have limited liability. Their personal assets are generally protected. Taxation. Subject to corporate income tax, and dividends distributed to shareholders are taxed on their personal returns. Management. Managed by a board of directors, elected by shareholders. Types. C corporation, separate legal entity from its owners, subject to corporate taxation. S corporation. Offers pass-through taxation with certain restrictions on ownership and number of shareholders. Nonprofit organization. Purpose. Operates for charitable, educational, religious, or social welfare purposes. Taxation. Typically exempt from federal and state income taxes. Management. Governed by a board of directors or trustees. Module 3. Intellectual property. Here are the main types of intellectual property and a brief overview of each. Patents. Purpose. Protects inventions and discoveries, granting the inventor exclusive rights for a limited period. Requirements. Novelty, non-obviousness, and usefulness. Duration. Typically 20 years from the filing date. Copyrights. Purpose. Protects original works of authorship, such as literary, artistic, and musical works. Coverage. Includes books, music, paintings, films, software, and other creative expressions. Duration. Generally lasts for the creator's life plus 70 years. Trademarks. Purpose. Protects symbols, names, slogans, or distinctive features that identify and distinguish goods or services. Coverage. Covers logos, brand names, and other marks used in commerce. Duration. Can be renewed indefinitely as long as the mark is used and remains distinctive. Trade secrets. Purpose. Protects confidential and proprietary information that provides a business with a competitive advantage. Examples: formulas, processes, customer lists, business strategies. Protection. No expiration as long as the information remains secret. Trade dress. Purpose. Protects the visual appearance or design of a product, packaging, or storefront. Examples: product packaging, store layout, distinctive product design elements. Protection. Similar to trademarks, as long as the trade dress remains distinctive and serves as an identifier. Industrial design rights. Purpose. Protects the visual design of objects that are not purely utilitarian. Examples: design of a car, furniture, or electronic device. Protection. Duration varies by jurisdiction but typically ranges from 10 to 25 years. Plant variety protection. Purpose. Protects new varieties of plants that are distinct, uniform, and stable. Coverage. Applies to agricultural and horticultural plants. Protection. Typically lasts for 20 to 25 years. Module 4. Business ethics and compliance. Business ethics and compliance are integral components of corporate governance that guide organizations in conducting their operations ethically, responsibly, and in accordance with applicable laws and regulations. Maintaining high ethical standards and compliance is not only a legal obligation but also contributes to the reputation, trust, and long-term success of a business. Here are key aspects of business ethics and compliance. Code of ethics. Organizations often establish a formal code of ethics outlining the values, principles, and standards of conduct expected from employees and stakeholders. The code of ethics serves as a guide for decision-making, fostering a culture of integrity and accountability. Legal compliance. Businesses must adhere to local, national, and international laws and regulations relevant to their industry. Legal compliance involves understanding, monitoring, and ensuring adherence to applicable laws to avoid legal consequences and maintain ethical business practices. Anti-corruption practices. Businesses should implement policies and procedures to prevent corruption, bribery, and unethical business practices. Compliance with anti-corruption laws, such as the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, FCPA, and the UK Bribery Act, is crucial for global operations. Conflicts of interest. Organizations should have mechanisms in place to identify and manage conflicts of interest among employees, directors, and other stakeholders. Transparent disclosure and appropriate measures help prevent situations where personal interests may conflict with the organization's interests. Whistleblower protection. Establishing channels for employees and stakeholders to report unethical behavior or compliance violations is essential. Whistleblower protection policies ensure that individuals who report wrongdoing are shielded from retaliation. Data privacy and security. Businesses must comply with data protection laws and safeguard sensitive information. Protecting customer and employee data is not only a legal requirement but also a critical aspect of maintaining trust and credibility. Environmental and social responsibility. Ethical business practices extend to environmental sustainability and social responsibility. Companies are increasingly expected to consider their impact on the environment, communities, and society at large. Training and communication. Regular training programs and effective communication channels are vital for ensuring that employees are aware of ethical standards and compliance requirements. Training helps foster a culture of integrity and reinforces the importance of ethical behavior. Corporate social responsibility, CSR. CSR involves initiatives that contribute positively to society, such as philanthropy, environmental sustainability, and community development. Embracing CSR enhances a company's reputation and can have positive effects on customer loyalty and employee morale. Internal audits and monitoring. Periodic internal audits help assess compliance with ethical standards and regulations. Monitoring systems identify potential issues early, allowing for corrective action to be taken. Module 5, Business Liability. Business liability refers to the legal responsibility a business has for its actions and the consequences that may arise from those actions. There are various types of liability that businesses may encounter, and understanding them is crucial for managing risks and ensuring legal compliance. Here are some key types of business liability. Tort liability. Definition: torts are civil wrongs that cause harm or loss to individuals or their property. Business torts can include negligence, intentional torts, and strict liability. Example: if a customer slips and falls in a store due to a wet floor that was not properly marked, the business may be held liable for negligence. Contractual liability. Definition: arises from breaches of contracts or failure to fulfill contractual obligations. Example: if a business fails to deliver goods or services as agreed upon in a contract, the other party may seek damages for breach of contract. Product liability. Definition: refers to the legal responsibility of a business for injuries or damages caused by its products. Example: if a defective product causes harm to a consumer, the business may be held liable for injuries and damages resulting from the defect. Employer liability. Definition: pertains to the legal responsibility of employers for the actions of their employees during the course of employment. Example: if an employee commits a tort or engages in illegal activities while on the job, the employer may be held vicariously liable. Premises liability. Definition: relates to injuries that occur on a business's property, such as slip and fall accidents. Example: if a visitor is injured on the business premises due to a hazardous condition, the business may be held liable for premises liability.